Hey everyone, it's George from One Jiu-Jitsu. So today I'm joined by Luis Alejandre, who's a second degree black belt and owner of Stronghold Jiu-Jitsu in Chicago. Yeah, thanks for taking the time to do this.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So yeah, before we do like a little tour of the gym, it'd be cool to get an idea of kind of what got you into jiu-jitsu in the first place and how that led to you opening your own academy.
Okay. So I've always, since I was a kid, I was a big Bruce Lee fan. And back in the day, I'm Mexican, so I was born in Mexico. I was raised in Chicago. And, growing up, my parents didn't really familiarize themselves with martial arts and stuff like that. So I always had the love for it. And then I was like 19 years old. I had a friend of mine that I worked with, Andre Arias, who's also an active black belt. And him and I worked together downtown, and he started training jiu-jitsu. So since we worked together, we would kind of always talk about it. He introduced me to it. I came in and I completely fell in love with it. So at the time, jiu-jitsu was still new in Chicago. That was back in 2002. And it kind of spiraled from there. My first class, I completely fell in love with it, and I stuck with it. And 21 years later, I'm still training.
Can you remember like what it was in particular that really made you fall in love with it so quickly?
It was, to me, it was like a big puzzle. A lot of like pieces of puzzles, learning how to defend yourself. I was bullied as a kid. So to me, the self-defense aspect of it really intrigued me, and really was the reason why I stuck with it, was learning how to defend myself from different positions. And, it kind of empowered me.
Yeah. And what have you found, I guess now as you've been training other people, what have you found are like the main reasons that the people get into training jiu-jitsu?
I think for the most part, at least from our academy, I think the self-defense aspect of it. And we have a large percentage of police officers that train here. So I think one of the things that's very intriguing is that it captivates officers that come in, and where they're able to learn and apply jiu-jitsu to making their work easier to deal with, and dealing with people, and being able to control somebody who doesn't want to be controlled. And then also realizing that what they thought they knew really doesn't always apply. So kind of taking a different approach to it, and really implementing it as their everyday skill for work and even personal life. Besides the fitness, obviously, I think that's just because we have a lot of guys that come in here. They're CrossFitters. They're in great shape. But once they get on the mats, it's a little bit different. The cardio is a little bit different. The movement. So I think for the most part, I would say, at least our academy in particular, is definitely the self-defense aspect of it.
I find it always interesting when someone comes to class who's obviously got a lot of experience, like say a CrossFitter, because they're always in insane shape. But it's like I found a lot of that cardio improvement is also just as you become more efficient with your technique, and you learn to kind of, because when I remember my first class, or first few months, where I would just be tense all the time because your body's just not used to being in that kind of fight or flight situation, especially when sparring. So it's interesting to hear that, and I can imagine as a police officer that just getting trained in that area, being more comfortable, could really help a lot.
Absolutely. And it's a culture shock too. At the same time, I think the hardest thing is walking in through the front door. And as police officers, I think for the most part, a lot of us have type A personality. So there's a little bit of an ego sometimes. And the hardest part is being able, or the idea of coming into a martial arts academy and thinking that you're going to get your butt handed to you, you're going to get beat up, or they're going to take advantage of you. And here, the culture we have here is just phenomenal. We don't deal with that. I think as soon as they come in too, they realize that, wow, this is very welcoming. Nobody here is trying to take my head off. I have to go to work the next day. I'm not, we try to, the culture we have here is really, it's pretty neat.
That's awesome. And what do you find with like the kids who train with you and the parents, why they, what are kind of the motivations there for training jiu-jitsu?
So we've had kids that have been bullied before they started training jiu-jitsu, and that's kind of what the search for the self-defense aspect came about. I have some kids that have been bullied after they started training, and how they deal with the situations, I think, is awesome. And even with the kids, with the kids program, a lot of the parents are also police officers. So we have a very tight-knit group here, and very, very welcoming culture. But the kids, I mean, it's I try to when they come in, like our promotions are not every 2 months, every 3 months. It's whenever they get promoted, they get promoted. Whenever we feel that they're ready. So it kind of takes away from the idea of coming in only for a belt stripe, for a belt color. It kind of really puts them in the moment and makes them enjoy themselves, and they start to learn, and they start to realize that they're capable of doing more than what they thought they were. So then they start to apply it to everyday life, and it's a really unique process that you see. Sometimes you see the light bulb click.
Yeah, that's an interesting way to do it, actually, just handing out the belts kind of like as you feel people are ready for them, rather than doing the kind of like at set intervals. Because I guess the idea is it makes people focus on just developing their skills, but that's the most important thing, rather than having these milestones of the belt that they need to get to. It's like, helping them to focus on just becoming better jiu-jitsu practitioners.
And it also, I think, it makes you appreciate the journey a little bit more. The belt, the stripes is just what's going to happen when you continue to train and you don't stop. I have a saying: is time is going to pass us by. Might as well earn your black belt. Like no matter what happens, we're going to get older every year. The days are not going to stop. So why not train? And you can look back one day and look back and see how much you've accomplished, and the colors of your belt. It's just the result of that hard work and the consistency.
For sure. Yeah. And so if someone's kind of new to training, say they've just kind of, maybe they found your website or something, they just contacted you there. What happens from there, like from that first contact to them kind of having their first class?
So we typically, we offer the free trial class, and that's kind of to make sure that this is the environment they want to be in, and this is what. Sometimes I think what happens is people have this perception of what jiu-jitsu is, and I've had people come in and do a class and completely become mind blown because it's not the concept that they thought it was. We don't have people screaming, doing katas and all that. Like you're learning hands-on, and you're diving right in and you're learning some pretty cool things. So once they do their trial class, then most of the time, the ones that are not familiar with it kind of have like a little bit of a wake-up call and realize, man, this is really cool stuff. So we partner them up with someone who has more experience, so typically the higher belts, and our students have been pretty good about taking care of the new people coming in, because we all remember our first day, and it's taking somebody by the hand and kind of helping them out.
Yeah. And could you show us a little bit around the gym as well, just so we can kind of get a sense of the space?
I'm going to turn the camera around, so let me see here. So this is our lobby area. I'll start from over here. We have the restrooms and stuff over here. As you can see, my daughter has her toys everywhere. So this is the main entrance area here. Our students sign in. We have our waiting lobby area here. We have our locker rooms. We have some of the gear, rash guards, gis. And then this is our training area here.
Nice.
So we have we kept it very Chicago with the stars.
Yeah.
So we have about 2,000 square foot of actual training space. Our facility is about 4,000 square feet. Let me turn these other lights on here.
Yeah. Nice.
Just change the lighting here, so we still have to make some adjustments.
Cool.
So yeah.
Nice. Yeah, it looks great.
Thank you.
And what have you noticed, kind of, say when people have started training with you, what are the changes that you've noticed in those people from their first class to kind of how they've changed? Maybe, I mean, you touched a bit on the first class, but kind of as they go.
Their confidence definitely increases. Their fitness, their physical, you know, I think that just comes with it. But I think the biggest thing is their confidence and realizing that how they start to become efficient with their energy. And the friendships that come about on these mats, the things that are discussed. I mean, it's really cool. You have a lot of knowledge. We have people from all over different backgrounds. We have a lot of police officers. But we also have a few doctors and nurses, firemen. We have people that work your normal jobs. But yeah, I would say their confidence. You know, they start to apply it to everyday life. You know, I have students that are in sales, and they apply the jiu-jitsu and becoming more patient and learning how to take different approach to things. So it's besides the physical, I would say the confidence.
And I think, yeah, the physical kind of just comes along the way. Like that's one of the things I've loved about jiu-jitsu is it feels like kind of in a Venn diagram, it crosses off so many things. You know, you get that kind of aspect of community from it. You get the kind of the health benefits of just getting fitter. And then also just the kind of the enjoyment of learning a new skill and solving puzzles, like you said, kind of the same way it's inherently enjoyable to kind of, to learn and develop a new skill in any area. So it's an amazing thing how many of those great areas of life that it seems to combine.
Absolutely.
Were there any other bits that you wanted to go over that you think maybe we missed?
No, I don't think so.
Awesome. Well, yeah, thanks a lot for taking the time to do this and show us around your academy. That was awesome.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.